And 15 days to that big election, the 7th of December 2024. We are your election command center as always. Getting the latest up-to-the-minute update also means that you have to go to 3news.com/elections, get the latest update of that during election day, and then also subsequently when the results are being announced. We are here to serve you, and we've been doing a lot, and we also pray that when it comes to all the relevant issues that have been discussed, especially on our out-broadcast content community manifesto, for which now we're focusing on the women in Women's Manifesto, brought to you by Star Ghana Foundation, as well as all the relevant partners. You are in a great position to, as always, know that we will stand by you, and you also need to do the same. We're cashing out. It goes with the short code *439#. As always, as you choose option 8 today, you should know that for the last 6 weeks, we've been giving out 50,000 Ghana cedis, and today we're going to give the numbers to the various winners in our draws. 5,000 Ghana cedis, 10,000 Ghana cedis in multiple sums as you become an ultimate lucky winner. So you choose option 8, *439#. And I have to thank Elizabeth in Tema, Elis Couture, Tema Community 1 Side 3 for this beautiful outfit today. Let me also tell you, we're here to discuss a couple of issues. We have 3 IPPs already giving warnings, and we know that this is just about 3 or 4 weeks or a month after Suno Nasogli also had raised issues about their money that needs to be paid in literal terms by the government of Ghana to them. And we know that that money is in excess of $256 million. Subsequently, we know that some 35, according to our sources, million of that money has been paid to them. They've resumed. But again, just this morning, we're also getting that at least one of the IPPs out of the 3 seem to have shut down completely, one operating at 50% capacity. How do we circumvent this? Just 15 days to this big day, the election we have, but how do we resolve the issues in the energy sector? We have some great people helping us, among them regulars, and let me just introduce them to you before we move on. I have George Money is joining us for the first time. Told that he is with the Western North Region MPP. Good morning to you, Mr. Money. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Okay.
But this is my second time being here. I think I've been here to discuss.
I didn't say that this is the first time, but I'm saying that we have you joining us, so that's
Sure.
fair. That's fair. And then let me say good morning to Charles Bisu. Charles Bisu is standing as parliamentary candidate for the Isikado Kitang constituency on behalf of the MPP as well. And so, and then also lawyer Apia Dankwa is a regular on the show, very astute gentleman, legal practitioner, long years standing. He's here. Good morning to you, Apia Dankwa.
Morning.
Great. You always have to wear yellow in there, right? Or you didn't even take notice?
But the yellow is in my hat.
Kwame Jantwa, the son of the great Jantwa of the CPP, and also lawyer as well. Good morning to you, Mr. Jantwa.
Morning, Roland. How are you?
Ofa Kwame, nice to have you in the studio as well.
So
I see that over the last
good
2-3 weeks, you've been in black. Any particular reason?
Funerals.
The funerals.
Yes.
Are you going again this weekend?
Yes. But today, this after I leave here.
Oh, you're going?
Yeah.
Well, certainly. So now let's tell you about how you need to step into the world of Dewa 539 for your chance to win big with Dewa Direct and Dewa Chop Money. Now with Dewa Direct, you dial *446#. You pick the range of the numbers 1 to 39. You also get to win big. So you're winning in multiples, 20 times your stake, 40 times your stake. *446# also will enable you to win 400 times the number of stake you undertake. And the draws are done every evening at 7 p.m., Sundays at 6 p.m. Early bets also love Dewa Chop Money. Again, at 10 a.m., the draw is done, but you have to dial *446#. You choose a range of the numbers once again. Remember, 1 to 39. Those are some of the numbers you need to pick within that range. You win big as well. You can also play online. Easy peasy. Dewa-nla.com is your site. Please make sure you go there and let's see. Right, so we'll quickly we'll have to start. Mr. Money, we're discussing the energy sector. You wanted to put in
say something. Can I wish Samuel Apetepi Adam, a.k.a. Andani.
Happy Samuel birthday. Adam. Yeah, one of our lead sound gentlemen.
Yes.
He's a very nice guy.
Let's wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you,
yes.
Samuel Adams.
Yes.
And we wish you all the best. He's just right here. Sammy, how are you? Happy birthday to you. God grace your life, as always. So he's a great guy.
Happy and strong.
Yeah. But Mr. Money, because you communicate for government directly, are we being told?
Communicates for the party.
Fantastic. Why do we have the situation we have?
You see,
Communicate with the party.
I said I communicate for the party.
Your government is in power.
Oh, the government is in power.
So, what's the
but
difference?
it's for clarity. I'm not a government spokesperson. It should be clear. It should be clear. I'm not.
Spokesperson who can speak for government.
No, not at all. Not at all. And then.
I'm trying to understand what you said.
Yes, there is a party and there is a government. I think the distinction will always have to be clear, right? And then, as I said, I communicate. I'm a regional assistant secretary. I am not a government spokesperson. However, the NPP's 2024 manifesto committee on energy, I served as a secretary, and that this is actually my field that I play, of which you know, because you've been meeting on several fora, so you know. First of all, yes. First of all, it must be stated clearly that government owning IPPs is nothing new, but the statement that we are going to be plunged in darkness is absolutely not correct, and that it is not happening. The NPP government have kept the power for 8 years, and 3 weeks or 2 weeks to an election is not a time for us to be experiencing or to plunge the country into any darkness. This is so because we are not even experiencing load management, not to talk about load shedding, right? The national wheelers, being Gridco, have not even given any indication of load management for the retail or the distribution company ECG to even give an indication of a load shedding. So there's absolutely nothing like that happening. You see, energy powers the country, energy powers the economy, and then is the lifeline. Anything that is the lifeline of every economy has two distinct factors. You always have the economic bit, and then you always have the political bit.
Fantastic.
You always have the economic bit, and you always have the political bit. Government indeed owes the IPPs. Government initially was finding it very difficult in paying the IPPs. For this reason, government in August 2020 brought a mechanism called the cash waterfall mechanism to ensure that these people are well paid, or they are paid as and when we consume power. Because when you look at the power value chain, we have the generators, we have the national wheelers, that is the transmission, we have the distribution, and then those are the retail end. So the money comes from the retail end and then pays all the people along the line up to the generators, who eventually also pay their people. Government instituted that so that any money that comes, everybody would receive as it does, or as due him. When I went to the PURC website and I wanted to check how the cash waterfall mechanism have been implemented, I realized that indeed, as of July 2024, the committee is yet to meet and then to approve any source of finance to them. That is what I realized that was the main challenge that is causing these
I don't understand.
IPPs.
The cash waterfall system is money that drops into a kitty.
Yes.
Into a coffin. Then so when you pay, you appropriate appropriately.
A committee then meets, and the committee then do the disbursement. You can see this is the July one. You can take a look at it. This is the July cash waterfall mechanism. Even with this, the review that is going on, I have made several proposals because I do not believe that we need to separate category A and category B, where category A people are paid 70% of the amount that comes, and then the category B, being the state SOEs, only share 30%. I'm of the view that right from the point of purchase, every money should go to all the IPPs in equal proportion. Generator. Yes, each generator in equal proportion, not to distinguish among them, of which the NPP manifesto clearly have captured that, and then we believe that digitalization or proposing that solution is the way to go. As I was saying, for the country to experience load shedding, for instance, it means that the peak or the system's peak must be more than the power that we receive, that the generators produce, that is the installed capacity. As we speak now, although Senior Assembly have shut down about 540 megawatts, We still have a buffer of more than 1,300, right? And that is why the country is not experiencing the darkness as we have to. This is not to say that they are not supposed to be paid. No. As I said, government owing the IPPs is nothing new, and government must always show continuous support and continuous.
So the question I ask you, why do they owe them, knowing that promises were made the first time the announcement was made? Mr. Money, why do they owe them?
You see,
forget about the cash waterfall system.
The cash waterfall plays a role. You cannot neglect that. You see, whatever power we consume, right? Whatever power we consume at the retail section, the money we pay is what is used in paying all the actors, including these IPPs. Now, the problem arises. It's just like within the petroleum downstream industry. When these IPPs are buying product, I'm giving an example, buying product, they buy in dollars, meaning they buy their gas and all those fuels in dollars. When the transmission person is doing the transmission, the wheelers are doing their work, it's calculated in dollars. When the distributors are doing, it's calculated in dollars. But anytime it comes to the retail section, it's always in cedi, which means that there is always a forex differential loss there. You understand? And then also the amount we've seen ECG, I'm talking about the southern part, being the largest distribution company, always complaining about MMDAs and then some individuals and some companies not paying their light bill as they used to. When those bottlenecks arises, it means that the monies to pay IPPs will not be there, because you must pay what you consume. If you're not paying what you consume, then definitely there's going to be a deficit, right? And then when you read the cash waterfall mechanism, it says that wherever there is a deficit, then it means that the Ministry of Finance would have to show up. But we all know the current circumstances that we find ourselves.
What are the current circumstances we find ourselves?
Circumstances that
because we collect the money. So what's the current circumstance, Mr. Money?
That is why I was showing an example that when you look at the projection that the ECG makes monthly and the estimated revenue generation, they don't get there. They are usually commercial losses. They are usually technical losses. They don't get the amount that they are supposed to get, and that accounts for those deficits. And so, if you are able to show up, or if you are able to meet the revenue generation targets, then these IPPs are all going to be paid. And mind you, some of the debt happens to be in the form of legacy debt. For instance, we read the IMF issue in January, says that within that sector, government owes about 1.6 billion, and it keeps accumulating, all due to some contracts and all those things which have been signed that the government is still obliged to be paying. You understand? So those things have been going on for now. But as I said, what is important is government's commitment, and government have shown enough commitment. I'm aware, and I speak authoritatively on this, that I'm aware that the Minister of Finance have met all these IPPs, and I'm equally aware that the president or the chairman of the Chamber of IPPs, Elikem, right, who said, I think that he is the head of Sona Sogli, and then
the
also
chamber. The chamber of that's Dr. Elikem.
Yes, Dr. Elikem. Yes, Dr. Elikem. I'm aware, because when he was asked that he should mention the 3 IPPs who are saying that he should shut down, or they are going to shut down, he said that it remains confidential. Okay. It cannot be confidential, because when Sona Sogli decided to go or to shut down their plant, it was not confidential. They just came out and said they were going to shut down. So if these 3 IPPs indeed wanted to shut down, they would. By now,
are you saying the chamber is lying?
I'm not saying the chamber is lying.
What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that his views perhaps might not reflect the views of all those IPPs within that chamber. That is what I'm saying, right? And then I heard Institute of Energy Security equally making or equally trending that line. But I know them. Their head is even a colleague of mine. We debate on all. Yes, he's a colleague of mine. And so when you look at the trajectory and then where the communications are coming from, that is why I said that there is always a political bit to energy consumption or energy production within every nation. So when I look at those things coming up from there, then I just get the whole thing that this is the politics aspect of energy. Perhaps
are you saying
not
that
the economic
IPPs,
aspect of
are you
energy.
saying the statements you're making are far-reaching? Are you saying the IPPs are playing politics as at now?
No, when I began my submission, I said that I'm beginning it from 2 fronts: the economic bit and the politics out of it. You can never associate politics from energy globally.
You mean you cannot disassociate?
Yes, it's always there.
So I asked the corresponding question. Are you saying that the IPPs Omumia government, and I mean, is that what you are saying?
No, they have to be paid what is due them.
Okay.
They have to be paid.
So why do you
what
then
is due
say
them.
that it's politics?
But I am equally saying that we have a lot of IPPs. We have a lot. In fact, out of the 6 IPPs, only 1 have shut down. And I'm saying that the person who shut down, his views does not reflect the other 5. I'm talking about the category A, not even bring the SOEs, the state-owned IPPs, does not reflect the views of the others. The one that shut down said that he wanted some $60 million, which is on record, and government, through the Ministry of Finance and then ECG, were unable to meet it. So he decided to shut down. And I'm saying that although he shut down, the others are still operating, which means that they indeed have confidence in government, that indeed they are owed. But through the cash waterfall mechanisms and then through the other ways that government is pursuing, they are going to be paid. And what is important is that they get paid. For instance, I always have this analogy I normally give, that when I owe you, let's say 10,000 cedis, right, and then I give you 10 pesos every day, 10 pesos every day, you always have confidence that indeed the 10 cedi that I owe you, I am going to pay. That will be, you will treat me quite different from somebody who you owe 10 cedi and doesn't pay you anything. And as I speak now, the cash waterfall mechanism, no matter the revenue that accrued, everybody gets his share. And I believe that is enough commitment for them to operate within the space. Well
put. Mr. Monida, let me just introduce you, Mr. Manuribe. Is it Manuribe? What's your first name?
It's Manuribe.
Manuribe.
Yes.
The first name is what?
Richard Manuribe.
Richard, welcome.
Thank you.
Gleaning from what Mr. Money is saying here, we seem to have a forex differential. It also means that how well we're able to stabilize the cedi has a direct impact on the money that we generate and onwardly be able to pay the IPPs, irrespective of whether we have a cash waterfall system, right?
Certainly.
So there's a monetary policy issue and the fiscal policy issue as well.
Certainly. Roland, let me say good morning to you and good morning to my cherished and my friends, good friends all around. Yeah. They've been very good friends of mine. But His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, says good morning to you and a good job we have been doing. Roland, the good people of Nkwantash South is also watching you today and say good morning.
Your constituency is in Nkwantash South?
Yes, and OT region as well. Roland, you ask whether it's monetary and policy problems, that is what's causing the problem. Roland, if you really listen to the ranking member of Energy, Mines and Energy, John Jinapo, has clearly told Ghanaians that this looming situation was going to happen. And the major problem was about monetary issue. That Sika Dwete was the major problem that the MPP government is talking about. Money also clearly talked about that there will be political aspect of it and there will be technical aspect of it, but he refused economic aspect. He refused.
He says political and
economic. He refused.
Because what he's trying to say is that if you make a decision as an IPP to reduce or even shut down, you should be cognizant of the political implication in these times. So we're just 15 days to the election.
When cognitively means what? Roland, we all know energy is power. And power is ability to do work. We all agree with that. So when you talk about being cognizant and the timing, if you listen to the chairman of the chamber told us categorically, people shouldn't think that the situation is about being sabotaging the government. It's about being operational and getting financial support to be able to power the termite. And that's the reality on the ground. Roland, we all know that even if you recall, in 13th September 2024, President John Dramani Mahama have to intercede on the behalf of the country. And that the IPPs were going to close down their termite. President John Dramani Mahama made a clear indication of telling Ghanaian, the MPP government that we've been able to secure 14 billion from ESLA. You recall, 40 billion for ESLA. And IPPs, how much are we owing them? I think as it stands now, government of Ghana owes them close to 1.4 billion for the IPPs. 1.6 billion for IPPs. And if you look at Asogli alone settled down with about 560 megawatt that's supply in this country. And other three independent power producers are also going. The reality of the matter is that if government is most insensitive to ordinary Ghanaians and doesn't consume much and think about the basic needs of electricity, we would have not gotten to where we are. The major problem is that government has not even taken a critical look at it. 1.6 billion that you owe IPPs, how do you think they can be operational? And do you know they'll have to pay their workers? Do you know they have to make sure that the power they turn out with gas? Mr. Jantua, you have best. They use gas to power their plant. And so they don't generate this. They have to go to Ghana Gas Company Limited and other producer of gas to be able to power the plant. So if, as a government, you don't invest more, you don't even look at how you'll be able to power or pay off the IPPs, we'll get to ground zero at where we are. Mona talked about that. Where are we? That we don't really see what is happening. I can tell you that we have gotten to a situation where that government is trying to manage and massage the situation of the.
How can you say that?
No, but
you think because election is looming, that's why?
Absolutely. You recall the minister of the finance minister in Washington. He was even telling Ghanaians, warning Asogli, that they can't decide from there and nobody can sabotage them. But Roland, the reality is that if you don't pay me to be able to do operationalization of my sector, how do I operate? Now, we have 9 independent power producers in this country. We are told that by the end of this week, today is Friday, 4 is also going to shut down. So it's going to be, 3 is going to shut down. So that will be 4 independent power producers. And the independent power producers produce about 400 megawatt of electricity in this country. So just imagine if 3 is to be able to shut down, where are we as a nation? So it will be more dangerous in the doomsday that we are even anticipating. So I will urge government and urge the President of the Republic of Ghana and the Minister of Energy, including the Minister of Finance, to quickly release money for them. You recall the arrangement they had with the Asogli. They even defaulted it. And Asogli have to come out crying foul. Up to now, Asogli is not operational. So I think that the monetary aspect is not political. It is just the responsibility of government to do what they are due to do. And if they do that, I don't think we'll be sitting here today and be discussing over the energy sector. The doomsday is there today. The doomsday has come just because government has consumed more and has refused to pay the IPPs. And that's where we have gotten to where we are. So it's not political. I think it's quite an economical issue, and they need to be operational. They need to get some finances to be able to support their power plant, and then they move. And that's where we are. I think so.
You're very popular. You're getting calls all over.
Absolutely.
Please try to mute the phone for us. You've ended. But we're back again. And the subject is that if we take a critical look at the sector and then the concerns that have been raised by the IPPs to the point that now they have to shut down, knowing that power is critical. And just like Moni said, if you make that decision, it becomes a political issue, even though you're not a political entity. So ideally, what should have been perhaps the position of the IPPs? Should they have gone the other way? Maybe go for some LCs and be borrowing money and be powering the plant?
Let me wish your lovely viewers, a good morning. Wish my brother Manuri be always a pleasure to meet him. And
you guys have been meeting?
He's my friend. And Money here, a good morning.
He's also your friend?
Money is here. Money, I know him. I used to be in his party. And then you are coming home. My big brother, Kofi Jantua. Kwame Jantua, sorry. Kwame. In fact, Roland.
Yes, sir.
I am scandalized to be sitting here speaking about energy in 2024. Energy issues in 2024. I think George Money did a good job in giving us a historical antecedent to the issues. Factually, a lot of the things he said were right, except that because of his position, he's struggling to give a perspective that will criticize government. You see, beyond he mentioned the cash water for
mechanism.
That mechanism came out after government spent money to do what we call the energy sector recovery program. Not ESLA. So there's ESLA and there's also energy sector recovery program. Yeah, you understand? So, you understand? Now, ESLA is Energy Sector Levy Act, which levied some monies on fuel consumptions, all with the aim of dealing with the legacy debts. Now, when Danado became president, he felt it wise to leverage on that to raise bonds, and all with the aim and purpose of paying off those legacy debts. Then beyond that, they spent our money, rightly so, to undertake a program, an energy sector recovery program, whose focus was to find a permanent solution to our energy sector programs. And indeed, they projected that with having identified the problems and having preferred solutions by 2023, our energy sector will become viable. What that simply meant was that the cost of producing energy won't be more than the cost, won't be more than the revenue they generate from the sale of those energies. Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was what Eddie told us. So why are we here? At the beginning of that energy sector recovery program, our debts, the energy sector debt, stood at around 2.7 billion USD. Today, the debt in the energy sector is standing at almost 2 billion USD. In fact, the World Bank projects that by 2025, the debts will go up by up to $8 billion. So, would I be wrong if I say that, like it is the case in the Galamsey issue, like it is the case in how the economy has managed?
You're saying how you manage the economy has a direct impact on.
Like it is the case in the Galamsey battle, like it is the case in how the economy has been managed. We are where we are because of a fundamental lack of commitment by people we've given our powers to give leadership. That's all. Because it's not like, you see, when you are faced with a problem, as in, it could be that you don't know. You understand? This is not an issue of we don't know. You spend the state's money to go into why we consistently have issues in our energy sector. You've recognized that the biggest issue we have in the energy sector is one of financial inviability. You've preferred solutions. You understand. So let me give you an example. So when ECG sells energy, because you should recall that majority of us private people, they take our money before we even use the energy. It is prepaid. Yeah. It's not like majority of us. Now, in spite of that, they are telling us that every year ECG makes a loss of 180 million USD because of their inability to collect. Now, out of that 180 million dollar shortfall, 150 million of those arise from their inability to collect from the ministries, the departments, and the agencies. 150 million, constituting about 80% of the entire loss. So is it the case that the government wants to borrow us abroad? Because beyond everything else, they take our taxes too. So why is government refusing to pay for the money for the electricity they use? Two, they also recognize that part of the problem arises from technical and technical losses. You understand? System losses. Now that constitutes about 23% of the entire loss. And you see, you've recognized this. We are in 2024. What have they done about it? What have they done about it? And maybe he's here so he can explain. Yes, so when you get,
but I don't speak for government.
You see,
there's knowledge. I think beyond just communicating for parties, we have personal knowledge.
So at the end of the day, in spite of the energy sector recovery program, in spite of all the beautiful solutions in those programs, in spite of a projection that if we apply the solutions in that program, by 2023 the energy sector would have come to a financial viability. So it means that we shouldn't be having this conversation in the first place. So why are we having this conversation? Why having and the person who fundamentally was placed in charge to supervise and undertake this program wants to be a vice president.
You mean Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
No. As the person placed in charge to undertake, to supervise the energy sector recovery program, Vice President Chair Candidate Napo.
As Minister of Energy?
Yeah, wants to be Vice President of Ghana. And I'm saying that the reason we are where we are is a fundamental lack or deficiency in leadership. It's not because we are incompetent. It's not because we don't know the problem, we've not recognized the problem. It's not because we've not recognized the solution. Because my brother here talks about the foreign exchange issue as one of the reasons. Now who caused them?
Why the CD17?
Yeah, now who caused them? Now who caused them? Because you see, we have placed the management of the economy into your hands. The president in 2015 espoused the principle of the Hattarization of the city.
The principle of the Hattarization.
Have you forgotten?
And Sidinai
Hatta.
Okay. I get your point.
Sidinai Hatta.
What are those invectives for?
Yeah, in fact, they are not invectives. I'm just quoting what the president said. Because my brother here says that one of the fundamental problems why there's debt is because of the forex issue. So then we need to interrogate why there's the forex issue in the first place.
Why are we at 1 to 70?
Because that was one of the problems that is causing the problems in the energy sector. Now who caused them? When you spend about 5 billion on NAPCO and spend 400 million Ghana cedis on 1D1F, because we understand that one of the fundamental strategies in dealing with the forex issue is a strategy that will expand exports. So who caused them? Because you control our fiscal policy. You control where government puts its money. You put 400 million Ghana cedis in one of your transformational programs and 5 billion in NAPCO. So who caused them?
To create jobs,
and also to expand exports. Who caused them? Because it's you, the government, you, the president, and your vice. You determine where you put our state resources. Yeah, you understand? It's not about just drafting the policy. Where do you put your money? Yeah, you understand? So it be they cause them. They cause this problem. Their lack of commitment in delivering leadership that impacts the life of every single Ghanaian is the reason for why we are where we are. And so when, in spite of this Koshoko leadership,
you haven't heard the vice president, who is also the presidential candidate of the ruling party, say on campaign platforms, especially his recent ones in the Ashanti region, that the economy is rebounding, has been managed well.
He said that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will do what? Where's how much? The president said when $1 was to 2 cedis, that $1, 2 cedis, he would have expected the then President Mahama to have resigned. He said that. But the juice, the sweetness of power, the envelope under the table, that's why Mahama isn't resigning. At that time, it was $1 to 2 cedis. And that is $1 to 17 cedis. Why hasn't he resigned? That was his premise. His premise is that because $1 was 2 cedis, Mahama didn't resign. And the reason why he didn't resign is because of the fat envelope under the table. I'm not the one saying this. It's the president who said that. Today is $1 to 17 cedis. $1 to 17 cedis. $1 to 17 cedis. Let this register. It's $1 to 17 cedis. Why hasn't he resigned? And my brother here is telling me that one of the fundamental reasons why we have the energy problems is because of issues to do with first. As if issues to do with first is what's called act of God. Yeah, as if issues to do with first is act of God. You understand? So you see, when we are where we are, because of a fundamental deficiency, a Koshoko leadership, and these same people, having failed to resign, like the president said, show gross disrespect to the people of Ghana, to the intelligence of the people of Ghana, and say that we should give them the opportunity to lead in spite of their radical and fundamental deficiency in leadership. Now, for me, it's a slap in the face. And so you see, we are 2 weeks away. In 2 weeks, that's a fateful Saturday, which will represent another Independence Day. Let us go and vote for Ghana. Let us go and vote for Ghana.
We're talking about Dunsol.
Yes, I'm saying that the Dunsol problem is a leadership problem.
Bringing voting.
Yes, because it's a leadership problem. Are you not following what I'm saying? That is a listen. I know my time is past. Just 1 minute. to wrap this up, I said, having taken time to undertake this energy sector recovery program, having beautifully identified the issues and preferred solutions that I do not disagree with. You understand? And a projection that if they follow the solutions, they themselves have preferred to a letter, by 2023, we would reach financial viability. And having failed radically, deliberately failed radically, against the forex issue my brother here brought, an issue they created. The Nanado and Bawumia government created, although they came to us 4 cities, now it's 17 cities. Yeah. So there's something fundamentally wrong. For you then to have the temerity to tell me that I should hand over power back to you is a slap in my face. I'm saying that come 7 December, the people of Ghana should go and vote for Ghana. And that vote for Ghana will be a vote for Honorable Alan John Kojo Chemantin. Let us save our country from the hands of
as of this morning, we know that Asogli and Amandi are totally off. And from our sources, there's every indication that Car Power has also drastically reduced load from their usual 450 megawatt production to 52. Something has to be done quickly.
Good morning.
What do you say?
If you campaign on a particular premise of digitalization, forgetting what underpins digitalization, then you are deceiving the people of Ghana.
What do you mean? Explain.
What underpins digitalization? Isn't it power? Isn't it energy? Without power, without energy, digitalization is through the window. And so, in terms of campaigning on an issue like digitalization, you've got to tell us how energy is going to be stable for us to be able to use what it is you're bringing in with regards to digitalization. Look, for me, I believe that the energy sector should not be politicized. It affects everybody. It's like blood in your body. Without blood in your body and without oxygen helping the blood to go through your body, you're a dead man, or you're a dead woman, or you're a dead goat, whichever. And I said dead goat because I want to show that animals too have blood in their body. If you do not look at the energy sector, that is the first point of call. So what are the issues? The energy sector has got to do with funding, has got to do with debt, has got to do with availability of finance, has got to do with the cash waterfall mechanism, has got to do with collection, and also has got to do with the exchange rate.
Okay.
How do we fund the energy sector? And I would like a situation where we will stop the politics. MPP says this, NDC says this, Movement for Change says this, CPP says this. Forget all that. Let's have a plan, a 20-year plan for energy, where any new government that comes in sticks to that plan. Other countries have done it. South Korea have a 20-year plan for energy.
Irrespective of which party is in power.
Irrespective of which party is in power, because energy is fundamental to everybody. Everybody is fundamental. Most of all, we need to be able to sort out ECG and what we expect ECG to do. Look, where ECG is concerned, the forex losses on ECG's ability to fulfill its financial obligations is challenging. Very, very challenging. The discrepancy between the PURC exchange rate and the Bank of Ghana's rate results in significant losses for ECG. Let me give you an example. In July 2024, ECG paid WACO 3 million cedis. July 2024. The Ghana CD equivalent recorded it as 48 million. 48 million. PURC recorded it as 43 million. And when you do the calculation, there are huge losses in there. And the fuel the fuel that ECG is buying is not in the cash waterfall mechanism. So who accounts for that loss? The cash waterfall mechanism, as the World Bank has rightly said, should be looked at and done properly. Everybody's debt should be able to be covered. And it sinks down to collection of revenue. Sometimes, yes, it's a leadership problem. But sometimes leadership does not know how to handle the challenges that the energy sector faces. Look, I heard Dr. Baumia say, we are going to make sure that when we come in, solar becomes primary.
Why, Dr. Baumia? What has he done to you people?
He hasn't done anything. He's in power. He's in power. Oh, please stop that. Stop that. He's not the president. Is he not part of the team? He's not part of the president's team.
Also he said that if they're fundamental,
I say, is he not part of the president's team? Baby back home.
He is part.
As head of the economic management team.
Of course, collective responsibility.
Hey, that is it. That is it. Then wait. Because what I'm saying is pricking him. It's pricking him. That's why he's doing it. Yes, it's pricking him.
Please
so he's trying to tell me that when Vice President Baumia speaks to the president about certain issues, the president is so stubborn that he won't listen. Is that what he's trying to tell me?
How do you make those deductions?
But that is what he's saying.
I haven't said
That's what he's saying. He said what? He doesn't make decisions. What is the use of a vice president? Are you not there to advise your boss? So if you see things going wrong, will he not advise the president? And he's saying that the president is stubborn. He will not take it. The energy sector situation, through this Fourth Republic, has been a problem. And as president, so okay, let me pack Baumia aside. As president, you realize that the energy sector in this Fourth Republic, with all the various doomsaw, it has caused mayhem for us. What do you do? What do you do? And in your own term, you tell us that, oh yes, we've been able to handle the energy sector well. Fair. Let's give that to them. Is there no doomsaw? Me, I slept in darkness 2 days.
Which area?
West Legon. 2 days. And the new thing is that now is the appliances. They switch that off. Fluctuation here, fluctuation there. It's all West. There's nothing good about it. I heard this morning you congratulating the president. It's West. Doomsaw is doomsaw.
I was only being sarcastic.
Doomsaw is doomsaw. Some people won't take it as sarcasm.
Well, I would that.
Doomsaw is doomsaw. And so, as president, and this is what,
for managing it 3-4 hours.
This is what I say. And you see, when I talk about the president, it's not that I don't like him all. But people think I don't like him. He's my friend. But the fact is that he has been there in my father's time. He has been there in Rawlings' time. He has been there now. He's one man who knows the challenges of this country. And you know doomsaw has been a problem. What do? Do you not call a national dialogue and say, my people of Ghana, energy is key. As president, I want us to have a situation where energy is concerned, we all are singing from the same hymn sheet. This is what we should do. Let's all come together and do it for energy. If you won't do it for anything,
a national plan.
Energy
where
alone.
We all commit.
Energy alone. Dr. Baumia is talking about solar. And that he would make sure that solar becomes quite prevalent. Does he know what it takes to bring solar in? Does he know the taxes on solar? Does he? Can solar really handle industrialization? Can he? Do we not have a nuclear agenda? Do you not have a nuclear agenda?
Nkrumah even started.
Do we not have a nuclear agenda? Which of the flag bearers have even mentioned that agenda? But it's going on. The Americans are very interested. The South Koreans are very interested. Quite a number of countries are interested. We are now shortlisting. Even the Chinese are getting in. And you talk about solar. When you can have...
Have you seen Dr. Baumia is jumping the gun?
Have you seen him talk about nuclear? the cost of nuclear in terms of tariffs is cheap. It's like water. Has he talked about it? And he's deceiving the people, telling that we'll give you solar everywhere. Have you been able to do it whilst you were in power?
He's deceiving, deceit.
Has he been able to do it? The things he talks about, has he even started here in power? Is he outside power? Is he outside power? Is he not in power? And even if you say solar, wouldn't it have been a good idea to even start and let Ghanaians see that you are serious about what you're saying? To say that, look, whilst we're in power, we tried as much as possible to move conventional power from residential to business, so that with residential, we can start the solar bit. How many residential houses in Ghana today have solar? If it was easy, wouldn't they do it? Will they not do it?
With the buyback plan.
With the buyback plan. Is it in place? You come to deceive us to tell us that you're going to do solar.
The 2,000 megawatts.
You cannot do it.
You mean by your experience, not
Is
possible?
it easy? We are talking money. We are talking money. The energy sector is finance. Finance. Gas. Which is supposed to propel our energy. Have we done exploration to production in 8 years? So where's the gas going to come from? Do we not have stranded gas?
You mean capped gas?
Yes, well, it's stranded. It's in the ground. We are not using it. But gas is what? Power at the plants. So you need to be constructive in what you say for people to trust and believe what you say.
Okay.
If we are going to use gas, let's use gas, and let's make sure gas is available. We need to look at the debt. We need to. So, for instance, Tema Oil Refinery. We, ECG, buy fuel in to help with managing the, what do you call it, the generation plants. Don't we have Tema Oil Refinery? Don't we have our own oil? Are you saying that if we were to put Tema Oil Refinery back to where it was, we wouldn't have to use foreign because we play ball with it, it comes to affect us. Energy is key. Energy is something that we need to look at holistically as a country, not as a political party.
Well, so we currently have information on the system limits, meaning that the system condition or the generation currently as being recorded. So we'll take you through. As at 7 a.m. yesterday, the capacity ideally we needed by way of the demand should have been in excess of 3,000 megawatts. And according to our sources within the energy sector, based on the system conditions, as at 7 a.m. yesterday, we're only able to produce 2,803 megawatts of power. In excess of 3,000 is needed, usually 3,300, 3,500, it depends. And I'm told, based on what Lawyer Jantua and the rest of those in the sector tend to say is that the demand periods are always during the day. And then in the evening when we need the light to sleep, etc. It will also mean that we need to rack up the production. Now, so this morning, as we're here talking, we have the 7 a.m. report. 7 a.m. report. And again, whilst we needed over 3,300 megawatts of power to be stable, at least, just to be getting localized 1 or 2, not the current experiences of the 3 hours, the 4 hours we're getting, and the low voltage. As of 7 a.m., our sources within the energy sector are saying we're only producing again 2,860 megawatts of power. It gets even more interesting. So if you take a look at the table before you, you'll find that Asogle is 0. Total load, megawatt is 0. Asogle, 0. Already, Siemens has been 0 for a very long time. 0 production. You take T3, 0. Usually when we're in difficulty, then we'll call in Bui Solar. So we have 5 megawatts. when you also trickle down, you find that Amandi, just like the way we have been telling you this morning, Amandi is 0. You go down a little bit, just go down a little bit with the Kesa, you'll find a 0. So you find AXA Amandi 0. And we're told that the implications are that car power is even now operating below capacity, far below capacity, below even 20%, 52. That's a concern. Mr. Money, you're here, and already I'm getting the concerns that are being raised, that the payments are not coming to the IPPs. The Ministry of Finance, which make the promises and then does the negotiations, is not telling them when it intends to pay them. Mr. Money, when? Because the basic thing is they need their money, their kudi, to be able to buy the fuel and generate for Ghanaians. What are you getting? I know you have Ministry of Energy, cash water for...
Because I have issues with the table you just presented.
No.
Before that...
Are you saying that we are lying?
I'm not saying you are lying. I said I have issues. I have issues. I have issues. You see...
Have no issues. These are system conditions.
Before I go into that, I want to encourage my senior man here to read the NPP manifesto. If you read the NPP manifesto, page 179, you will know the NPP's promise for nuclear energy. Already we are at the point of choosing the technology to use, whether to go the US way or the Chinese way, to select a vendor. If he takes his time to read our manifesto, he will get to know what we are doing. Secondly,
is in your manifesto?
Secondly, this is Bawumia's commitment to the people of Ghana. This is his commitment to the people of Ghana. When you read it, you will know all the things that he wants to do for the people of Ghana. The second thing is also to tell him that when we say that we want to bring in 2,000 solar energy, right? If he really understands, I know he understands it, he would know that we have mini grids and off grids as far as solar is concerned. This is also even good. This is even a private-led stuff. For instance, if government decides that if you take the whole of Legon, it consumes, let's say, 38 megawatts of power. But when you check their lighting system, only their lighting system consumes 15. So, okay, let's put all those 15 megawatts of power on solar energy. It creates a deficit as far as those from the base load and then the thermal energies are concerned. That is what he's talking about. And then also, as the philosophy of the NPP, everything that we do is private-led. Everything that we do is private-led. He is talking about tax. Of course, when these things have to be done, definitely the tax reforms and the tax things around it would have to be reviewed. Now, back to your topic. I know that the car power, I know that they are operating at 15% due to an operational problem because they have a faulty valve of which they've contacted the Ghana Gas Company and that the engineers are already in town to go and fix it. Also, Amandi gave an indication of their shutdown long before this. Dr. Elikem spoke about the financial issues within that they are going to shut down, and it was due to planned maintenance. So already all those things have been factored in. And as I was saying, I hear people talk about. My brother was alluding to some statistics as far as Forex is concerned. See, in 2013, Ghana's total size of our economy was... You haven't answered my question, so let me repose my question. Perhaps maybe that's... No. So the question I asked you, based on the premises... I don't know how you want me to answer, because I have told you. Okay, so the Ministry of Finance, we know that over the period has been meeting the IPPs and making promises. I'm saying that for this latest deductions we have to make based on what they are producing and what the demands are, when would they be paid? And at least advanced payment so that we know that we're going to have stability. When you were speaking, initially, before we started, you said that the Ministry of Finance have made some $35 million payments to these IPPs out of the 260 that they owe them. So where was that coming from? As far as the ministry is concerned, the ministry will keep doing its obligation as far as those payments are concerned. Now back to the table you showed. I do not know the source of that table. Honestly speaking, and then as a researcher,
are you disputing the source of the table? These are what they call the system condition update that is given to.
I always want to see the source of that table. Once I do not see the source, I can never speak to the authenticity of that.
We're lying.
I'm not saying you're lying.
Okay, answer my question then.
When
would they be paid?
Your question in several forms.
When would they be paid? The current on-pass that we have, when would they be advance money?
I have told you that the Ministry of Finance is meeting them. The cash waterfall team is sitting, and then payment that is due everyone would be paid. As to the exact timeline, as today or tomorrow, I cannot tell. But I know that they are doing it. And I've also stated that a car power operating at 15% has nothing to do with finance. It is an operational issue, it's a technical issue, which has to do with a faulty valve. They have reported the matter to Ghana National Gas Company, and the engineers are there working on it. This is factual. That is why I said that, you see, for energy, for when you understand the energy bit, you always understand the political undertone within the energy sector. You understand? You always have to get that. But also, let me clarify this. You see, when I was speaking, and then I said that power, as far as the revenue collection was concerned, my brother here was saying that what were the measures that we've instituted. You see, we brought something we call the boundary metering system. The boundary metering system, let me give you a practical example. No, I'm speaking to the issue. I am speaking to, I don't know what you want me to say.
You have 2 minutes.
You understand? I don't know what, I'm not singing your tune, that is why you are not, yes. You see, the boundary metering system, let's say if the whole of TV3, you have let's say, a transformer, there will be a meter there to calculate the amount of power that comes. And then also we will be able to, when you know you are receiving, let's say 5,000.
We don't have light. You are thinking of boundary metering system.
There is no doom so ongoing. When we say that, why is doom so? My brother here was talking about he having issues. Of course, the fact that we have power in excess does not mean you're not going to have some places, some lights going off. But when those happens, have you called the ECG? Because ECG, as I was talking to, I was just looking at their WhatsApp page where they give daily updates as to areas where they have fault and as to areas where the faults are coming from Gridco. They do give those things. So has he reported those matters to the ECG? Let's be factual in our presentation. You understand? The fact that perhaps our quest for political power or our quest to promote somebody's political agenda does not mean we should not stick to the facts. We should stick to the facts. We should always stick to the fact. That is what is important.
And the fact is,
right? And the fact is that we are not experiencing any doomsaw anywhere. The doomsaw that we experienced under John Mahama is that this doomsaw that we have been operating. Last time I was operating an FM station at my constituency. Vision FM.
Right.
It's still there.
So
I have to sack workers because of that doomsaw.
The system condition.
No, we need to be factual.
Sheet.
We need to be very factual.
Is showing that, I mean, we have 500 deficits, even if we want to do the stability. And there's a critical.
We are not having.
There's a critical issue about how do we need to make sure we show up, because to show up also means that you need to advance or make those promissory notes to the IPPs. What would be your best advisory?
Roland, it's just simple. We all know that the 9 IPPs produce 400 megawatts of energy to the country. Roland, Asogli is 0 as it stands now. Siemens is 0. T3 is 0. Amandi is 0. Even Upon is 1. And even Bui that we rely on as buffer is 5. So why do you sit here and tell us that?
No, the solar.
That's what I'm saying. We rely on. There's only 5% that you produce out of 100. As we speak now, 5 out of 100. So if you sit here and tell me there's no doomsaw, how do you say that 9 independent power producers, you've clearly said that they could not even meet 250 out of 300 megawatts that they produce. We need
at least it's 330. We have 2,800 as of this morning, and that's just about an hour and 30 minutes
Roland,
update.
This is quite doomsaw. Look, as we are speaking now, go and see the Northern Power Authority. For some time now, it is totally dark out. You can't even power your fridge, your AC. Where are the people in the 5 Northern region? They will tell you. We are in the total darkness as we speak now. Let nobody deceive you. Doomsaw is back, And they are trying to massage it. I heard Napo the other time, they said they were doing some maintenance, and it was not doing so, it's rather dark and lovely. And that's where we are. It is clearly, but when we want to speak, they will tell us that we shouldn't, we demanded for what? We demanded for timetable. They said we are evil. You recall, the running mate of the MPP, Napo, told us we are evil to demand this. People, I operate the coastal. People, fish and meat are spoiling. People, businesses are running down as we speak now. Look, what we are talking about, the whole thing that we are, the whole agreement is about paying the IPPs. And they are crying that the dollar to CD is skyrocketing. And as we speak, I am told that even he's talking about the prepaid and postpaid system. I'm told that a company called Hoptel, and Hoptel that is even taking the little money we have, in as much as we don't have energy. And we know who owes Hoptel. I am even reliably informed.
Well, Hoptel has come out to...
No, I was told that it's Dr. Baumia that owns it. No, I mean, it's obvious. So that's the reality. No. So if Hoptel comes
clearly,
out...
I want to disassociate
so
TV3 Media General from this. Let's move on. That point has been made.
Roland, if Hoptel come out to say it, I'm not aware. I've just heard it the first time, honestly. So we are saying that, look, why are we in this? The government is not ready to take care of the private sector. Any private sector that want to grow, that's the reality. Look, as we speak now, in 2023, our oil revenue, we've got 540 million US dollars. And as we speak, you can't even pay IPPs to power our energy sector. So we are saying that you clearly said that Dr. Baumia is not the president. Are we not in this country? Who campaigned on doomsday economy? It's not Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. We live in this country when Dr. Baumia was the crusader of Dumso, where President Mahama had to solve Dumso, and he went to one of the stations in this country and said President John Dramani Mahama has solved Dumso, but we shouldn't give him credit. So the government is not functional, doesn't care about energy sector, and in any economy that you don't even have, you don't have enough energy. How do you operate? So that's why industries are falling up. As I'm talking to you now, most of the companies are falling up in this country because they can't even pay workers. Because when your company is operating and you can't even have energy power to power your businesses, how do you pay your workers? So that's where we are. That is why even creating the unemployment rate and other sector of economy is collapsing now. So if government, you ask for my advice, if government want to really care about this country, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who had economic management team, and his running mate, who has been Minister of Energy and he just left the ministry, should quickly come together and pay the independent power producers, and we can have energy in this country. But I can assure you, President John Dramani Mahama has been very worried, had it not because of his intervention. This will have happened in even 2023. You recall, in 13th September 2024, President John Dramani Mahama, no, I think I'm assigned to be corrected, I have that date here, in 2024, 2023, President Mahama have to intervene and speak to IPPs in this country. And came out to speak that they should take time and then take care of this country. That's what we are in now. The people are tired. The IPPs are tired. And if we care about this country, I beg the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana and his running mate, who are critically in charge of this energy sector, should quickly rescue this country.
According to Mr. Money,
hospitals are running down.
They said the industries are running down. Is not the same.
But I'm telling you,
it's not the same. Like
it is. He will say that because he has issues with the data that came out from a PURC and other credible source. That is, we clearly told it. He didn't believe in the data. You clearly said they didn't believe the data that came out.
The system conditions. Okay. Look, how do we resolve this? Let's use 3 minutes to tackle this. The immediate one, because clearly we need to do something about the production to meet the demand, so to speak.
So clearly the problem is not with the production. I think that issue was solved. The reason why we're having issues with the production is because of our inability to pay the producers. I think the issue really has to do with the collection. I think one of the major issues has to do with the collection. You understand? Now, my view is that it's the same approach used in solving the productivity issue should also be used in solving the collections issue, and that's the introduction of the private sector. You understand? The introduction of private sector. I'm damn sure if a private man sells energy to the ministries won't be saying that they won't pay, because they are the problem. Every year, MDAs don't pay up to 150 million. Now, in our great transformational plan, we are saying that when we come...
The GTP?
Yes. We are going to, what's called, we are going to create the right environment for private sector, to introduce private sector into the distribution, and then and obviously the collection of revenue, as in from the sale of energy. Also, like I already said, the energy sector recovery program, as it stands, as I have read it with my layman's understanding, has practically no issue. I think it's a fantastic document. And that's why when I gave my last submission, as I agreed with the solutions in the energy sector recovery program, that my disappointment was in clearly their lack of commitment to follow through the program they themselves have put in place. You understand? So listen, we have the solution. I think the solution is in the energy sector recovery program. Let us show clear commitment to those programs. Let us follow through those programs, you understand? And let's solve the problem. We shouldn't be saying that because we do not have doomsday, and that's a fact. We do not have doomsday like we had when Jomama was that's a fact. I can't. I'm comparison. No. Let me land. However, the symptoms show that if we do not handle these issues, we can find ourselves in a worse situation than we were in 2015. You understand? Because we have debts which are almost at 2 billion. So the same circumstance that caused the doomsday, we are heading the end. The projection that this debt could even reach about 8 billion tells me that if we do not show that commitment, then the conditions that brought the doomsday, you understand, are being created, and we need leadership that has commitment.
Okay.
You understand? Leadership that does not only speak, does not only talk, but leadership that is action. And that leadership is the leadership that Honorable John Kojo Chamanti will give us, should we give him power come 7 December 2020.
In the interim, how do we perhaps meet halfway these IPPs and their complaints about payments?
And so that is the operative word in the interim. 259 million debt. Minister of Finance needs to prove to us that we have the money there to be able, if for nothing at all, pay half this so that the IPPs can work. If you listened to the gentleman from the chamber, he said there are some IPPs who haven't received anything throughout the whole year.
Yes.
And that shows in the data that you gave us. Now, if they don't receive money to be able to produce the electricity, isn't that brownouts? Isn't that brownouts? And anyway, this equalization thing, for me, it doesn't work. Yes, we went through a long period of doomsday during the Mahama time. But did he not sort it before leaving?
He did.
Did he not?
He did.
Didn't he bring power plants in, which even some of these power plants today has been used to send to other parts of the country? So let's stop that equalization and let's look at today how we solve this immediate problem. We need to find the money. I think the IPPs, they want to work. I think the IPPs, if you stick by the promise you give them, by paying them a certain quantum and sticking to any plant you put in, they'll produce the electricity. And we won't have to come and sit here and talk the way we are talking. Because the basic thing is we need power. Simple. Straightforward. We need the kind of leadership that will commit to the payment of power. Very, very important. And if you find that you're not getting the leadership, and I will bet your bottom peswa. The IMF have indicated they are going to pay Ghana next month, in December. You see, the moment they pay us, you see what will happen. And we hope that when they pay us, I'm not sure what that money is earmarked for. But if it's earmarked for the energy sector, this should be the first thing government looks at. Because we cannot go into Christmas with doomsday, no matter how small the doomsday is. Because, Roland, during the time we had a long periods of doomsday, when you are approaching your house and lights were off, did you not sigh? Today, when lights go off and you're approaching your house, everywhere is on, do you not sigh still because lights are off? So it isn't something that we should think that, oh, because it's not long periods, people are satisfied with. Whatever kind of doomsday that we experience, people are concerned about.
Well, so let me read a couple of comments. This one coming from Mr. Keane, who says, last night there was a power outage in parts of Tema, Saki Bediako, in Obuasi. There was also light out. It's been going on and off. For me, because of the nature of my work, I have to rely on generators, which is fair because I use it to work. All right. And then also we have Kizito Tamais, who says, where is the ESLA receipts, which was supposed to have accrued and supposedly take care of the energy sector legacy debts? All right. Very critical issues also being raised. I have this one from Sampiyali, who said in 2016, the complaint was that John Mahama was incompetent because he could not find money to buy fuel. Today, what's the problem now? All right. And then also, let me just read one more before we go for the break. This one is coming from Master Planner Jr. And he says, Dr. Baumia has started some of the solar agenda already. Solar outboard motor on trial at Apam in the central region yesterday, where people think it is impossible. Dr. Baumia says it is possible. And so we did that story. We're talking about also production of power. So let me just read a last one coming from Mr. Mike Aflu, who sent us this one. Mr. Mike Aflu also says, Doomsaw is ongoing. Even yesterday, our lights went off for 5 hours here in Kofodia. It's being done in bits and pieces. The experiences are there. And so once you have shortfall, it certainly would mean that you are going to have difficulties. Thank you, gentlemen, for passing through. Mr. Moni? Oh, we are done. Yes. The panel is it's just 1 hour, sorry. Thank you very much. Okay. Kwame Janto as well, and Mr. Manuridi. Did I pronounce it well? Oh, how do you pronounce it? Manuridi. All right. So let's tell you about why this election season, we're just about 15 days to go, is going beyond the headlines, being 3news.com, and stories being there to update you more and more. So our special election portal brings you historical results, insight into Ghana's voting patterns, and all the election data you need, including live voting updates on election day. Now, our interactive maps and detailed analysis will help you stay fully informed. Also, get all your election information up to date as you get them on election across the country for Ghana. 3news.com/elections. Please make sure you log in. All right. Your one-stop elections portal. You can find it. And once you navigate it, you can have everything there. And we have *439#. It is cash out. Let me see whether we can incentivize cash money cookies here. So I'm well energized. She's giving the advance notice that we need to do the first draw.